Moi everyone and welcome to Finnish Plate. The dairy aisle in Finnish grocery stores is huge and there's all kinds of products. There's yogurts, there's wheelies, there's quarks. I've made videos of all those products. But one specific flavor that is my favorite that I miss here in the US is Hedelmäpommi or fruit bomb. I think it's been on the shelves for decades. It was definitely when I was growing up, and it's still on the shelves even today. You can go to Finland and pick it up, and I really like the fruitiness of the flavor, and it has a little bit of tartness and sweetness that contrasts really well with the yogurt. It's always been my favorite. So it took me a little while to figure out how to actually make it, but I figured it out. So come and join me and I'll show you how to make this classic Finnish yogurt flavor. The main flavor in fruit bomb yogurt is peaches. I have here some sliced peaches. You could use peach preserves or even fresh peaches if they're in season, but I kind of prefer it to be chunky, so that's why I'm using these sliced peaches that I'm gonna chop up rather than using peach preserves. Other flavors are raspberry and then apricot. There's a couple little surprise ingredients in there too. The other one being elderflower juice, or concentrate in this case, and peach juice. So both of these are going to add a little bit of flavor, but mostly sweetness to the mixture. So first, I'm just going to take some peaches and I'm just going to roughly chop these up. So I'm going to weigh my ingredients. I'm going to use 4 parts of peaches, 1 part of raspberry, and 1 part of apricot. So let's make it some even number. That's easy to divide. Okay, so I have here 200 grams of peaches. So that means I'm going to put 50 grams of my raspberry and 50 grams of my apricot jam in here. There we go. And then apricot, another 50 grams or so. Perfect. Now, let's just mix all those up. And then last, to add a little bit of sweetness, I have here some peach nectar. So I'm going to add about 20 grams. Let's start with that. Let's see how that is. There we go. And the elderflower juice, since this is concentrate, don't need a lot of it. So I'm just going to go with 5 grams of this. There we go. That was it. And let's mix it all up. And let's check the flavoring. It can be pretty tart, but of course that's a personal preference. But also, since I'm using a non-sweetened yogurt, you gotta account for that too. It's a little bit on the sweet side, tasted on its own, but I think when mixed with the unsweetened yogurt, it'll be great. So let's take our yogurt. Of course, since we're in Finland and there's a ton of dairy products around, I believe this fruit bomb flavor has existed also with quark and maybe even in wheelie. But yogurt has been the mainstay for decades, literally. I remember this from when I was young, and they still have it in Finland in the stores. So it must be selling pretty well. Putting in about half of my container here, and let's mix in the fruit bomb mixture. Let's mix this up. Let's see how much. Probably can add a little bit more. Let's actually mix in the entire batch. There we go. And let's taste it. Does it taste like my childhood? It is definitely not too sweet now. I maybe want to add just a touch more of the raspberry. I think the raspberry kind of gives it a little bit of tartness, but my raspberry preserve is maybe a little bit on the sweet side. This is Bon Maman, which is a pretty good raspberry preserve. So I definitely want to accent that flavor a little bit more. A lot of these proportions, of course, depend on what you're using as your base, what kind of preserves, what your base ingredient is. And let's taste check. Now we're there. Let's put in a couple pieces of granola on top. Let's garnish. And then just a couple pieces of peach. And here we go. Our Finnish fruit bomb yogurt is ready. All right, let's give it a test. Yeah, using the sliced peaches was definitely the right choice here, instead of using peach preserves. And it still has a nice amount of tartness left, maybe from the yogurt. So it's not quite as sweet as many other flavors. In Finland, most yogurts, desserts, they're not terribly sweet. They may be a little sweet, but not a whole ton. All right, I'll definitely be making this again and hope you'll try it too. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on Finish Your Plate. This one looks good. I wonder if they have it in small.
Uh-huh.